Hey peeps, we are back. We are talking The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 12, Episode 15, The Reunion Part 2. Hey, before we get into the video, please do me the honors of subscribing to my channel, hitting the notification bell so you can always be notified when I post new content, hitting the thumbs up because that does wonders for my channel, and share. Thanks. You guys, I am still quarantining. I can tell you that C19 is no joke, and I am just ready for this to be over with. Again, I would like to thank everyone for their well wishes. I appreciate you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. When I feel a little better, I try to watch one of the shows and record a video. Let's just get into it. So this episode starts off right where we left off, and I am really just tired of Andy Cohen. This man is so biased. It is ridiculous. First off, he has to tell Theresa to go apologize to Joe, who has stormed off like a real toddler. He is really, really whining and throwing a tantrum, in my opinion. And I want to be clear that this is my opinion. You know, a lot of times we don't always agree, but as long as you are respectful in the comments, it's fine for me. But in my opinion, Joe is throwing a tantrum, and it's really just a bit much. There is no way that this man is leaving this show without being fired. He is too much of a fame whore to really quit. Do I think it was right the way Theresa called him out, called him a little bitch boy? No, I don't. But do I agree with the comments? Absolutely. You know, Joe storming backstage, letting Louis know that if he goes out on stage and defends his girlfriend, he's a little bitch boy. I mean, it was really a lot. And while Joe and Theresa and Louis and Joe B, Marge's husband, which I don't understand why Marge's husband was standing there for so much of it. I think he just wanted to get all the bits of information so that he could relay it to Marge later. While they're back there screaming and hollering and just acting ridiculous, Jackie is up there talking to Jennifer, trying to establish their relationship and, oh, you hurt me and you followed Theresa, and I quickly ignored her the same way Andy Cohen did. He lounged back in that chair as if to say the whole show is backstage. I don't care what you ladies are talking about, until he decided to jump up and go backstage to find out what the heck is going on.
He's the only one dealing with housewife drama.
That's what I'm saying.
We want him to be here.
I've told you to talk. You hiding anything?
He doesn't owe Margaret an
yes, he does.
explanation.
Whether Margaret brought it up or not, asking him every question.
What's going on? If he doesn't want to do it, he doesn't want to do it.
Don't let her piss you off with these little and things she says.
I would never put you down, and you know that.
You
There's
did
something wrong
twice tonight.
No, I...
Well, he's telling you how he feels.
I want to have a relationship with you. I love you. But you've said some nasty things tonight.
Sorry.
I really do need Andy to stop kissing Joe's ass. I mean, it is ridiculous. I agree with Andy. You know, we have been going back and forth with the whole Giudice Gorga war for 11 seasons. And I can tell you, I am so tired of it. I am over it. You know, Joe is back there. Theresa apologizes. She does make some kind of comment where she says, I didn't say anything bad about you. I wasn't mean to you, or something like that she was saying. And I was thinking, Theresa, were you not just there 5 minutes ago? You absolutely talked bad about him. But Joe talks bad about Theresa too. I mean, it's a whole lot of back and forth. It's a lot of coddling when it comes to Joe Gorga, and I'm just over it. He is a grown man, and he is always ready to stick his nose into the ladies' business, but then when he gets called on it, oh my gosh, how could you disrespect me like this? We have heard Joe call Theresa a scumbag, garbage. He has called her a bitch. I mean, seriously, they do this to each other, But it seems that the major focus is on Theresa here. And I'm not saying that Theresa is innocent. As I said before, I would not have done that to my brother. However, I would have probably told him in a much nicer way off camera, please stay out of the ladies' drama. Melissa comes in trying to get Joe to come out of there. And Theresa had just apologized and Joe has just accepted. Let's move past this. One thing I would like to say is Theresa really does need to take a self-evaluation. You can't just do and say whatever you want whenever you want to and not realize that there are going to be consequences. The fact that both of them are the only two left in their immediate family, I don't understand why they can't have some sort of meeting of the minds and decide to try as hard as they can to work on this relationship. I mean, this is crazy. I think they need to go to therapy. One good thing that we found out during the reunion is that Dolores' mom is doing well. She says that she's walking every morning and she's also eating better. Finding out that Dolores' mom is eating healthier is amazing because remember, she liked to have all of her sweets and everything. I can tell you this last 5 or 6 days with C19, I realized that I want to change up some things in my life too because this has been an eye-opener. I have never felt anything like this in my life, and I have had the flu a couple of times. I mean, this is a nightmare. Then we find out that Frank is living with David. I said, oh, geez, I'm not surprised. But what I did appreciate is Andy said, does Frank have an income? And honey, listen, I wanted to know because, Frank is disbarred as an attorney, and I know that he does home building and things like that. But why can't he build himself a home? Or why can't he just lease himself an apartment? Frank is closer to 60 than not. Sir, you cannot couch surf and be the man. I'm just saying. Dolores was also asked if her new man, Paulie, and Frank got along. And she said, well, they don't see each other that much. But then later they show the previews for next week and we can see Frank doesn't like Paulie. But she also made the comment that Frank doesn't live with her because she's in a relationship. And I said, well, weren't you in a relationship with David for 5 years and you didn't care about Frank living in the house when you were with David? This is all Paulie. I think that Paulie is not here for it and he doesn't like Frank and Frank doesn't like Paulie. And I think, in my opinion, that Paulie told Dolores from the jump that Frank had to move out of that house. I don't know, honey, but I am interested in seeing what happens next season because I believe Paulie will be filming. Then they talked about David is currently dating one of Louis' exes and Theresa jumps in. I said, Lord, if you could just sit down and shut the hell up, woman. She jumps in just as much as Marge does. Dang, I wish Marge would shut up. She says that Louis was only with her for 2 months. Well, listen, if Louis was only with her for 2 weeks, if they considered it dating and she considered him her boyfriend, they were still exes. Let it go, Theresa. When they were talking about Paulie, did anybody notice that Marge couldn't wait to jump in to say that she knows Paulie and that she spends time with him and Dolores, and she also knows David, and she spends time with David and Frank at their place? It was as if it was some sort of one-upsmanship, to let Theresa know, oh, I know Dolores and her boyfriends and ex-boyfriends and, ex-husband Frank. It was just a little weird. Marge is doing a lot.
Recently, Rihanna said that Theresa resonates with her as a mom. What did that shout out mean to you?
Shows that, people see that I am a good mom, because sometimes you don't know if you're doing a good job as a mom. But then when I look at my daughters, I'm like, yes.
I thought that was really cute. I love Theresa as a mom. Now, Theresa has a lot of flaws, and she does and says a lot of things that are really crazy. But then I think, I have a lot of flaws and I say a lot of things that are crazy from time to time myself. But one thing I really do like about her is I think she's a really good mom to her daughters. And that's one of the things that I like about myself. You know, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think I'm a pretty good mom to my son. At least that's what he tells me. Actually, this is so crazy, but one time I did ask him, I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, as your mom, I said, how do you think I'm doing? And he said, I'm going to give you about an 8.5, Mom. And for a minute, I was a little sad because I really thought I was a 10. And it turns out I wasn't, but I was okay with an 8.5. Okay, so I guess Jen was really hard on Marge about sleepaway camp. And Marge says that she sends her kids away to sleepaway camp for socialization. And I can see both sides. I went to camp. At one point, I was a camp counselor. I was a DARE camp counselor, if anybody remembers that. DARE to keep kids off drugs. And I enjoyed it. I absolutely loved it. But at the same time, when I became a mom, I didn't let my son have any sleepovers until he was 14 because I wanted him to be alert, aware, be able to call me when he needed me. No, I'm like Jen. I don't want my kids to have sleepovers. So I'm, okay with her being a little cautious of sleepaway camp. Each mom should be able to make the choice that's best for her children.
Between Joe and I, there's 6 children.
Okay.
And only one relationship is very strained right now.
But hey, you know what? Kids are resilient and they can go to therapy.
At that moment, we were all in shock when you were crying. I was just like, I was trying to comfort you. I didn't know what to say.
It didn't land
It didn't
well.
land. People had a fit.
It also,
It
but
sounded
also,
insensitive.
Well, but also,
Very.
your stepkids didn't deal with
Well,
it well. I understand the
I
differences.
understand.
I'm just saying, some kids aren't that resilient.
All right, so Jennifer is a beast. I mean, she picked the very right moment to bring that up. Kids are resilient. They could go to therapy, okay? And Andy Cohen, I appreciate him a little bit here. However, what I didn't appreciate is out of all of that, it didn't land well. There was not one I am sorry, not one apology, not one I should not have said that. Nothing. No, I am sorry, Jen. I apologize to you and your children. Nothing. And I think what upset me about it is not Andy nor any other women on the couch said, you know what, maybe you owe her an apology. If you don't want to apologize to her, at least apologize to her children.
Exes want to bury this guy.
No, it's because he's with Theresa Apologizes. He's dating Theresa Apologizes. That's why. Okay, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
Wow.
No.
If he was dating maybe Margaret Joseph, this wouldn't be happening.
Okay.
Calm down.
You are so pompous.
Okay, so I don't know what the hell is going on. I really don't. I said, you know what? This was filmed shortly after her surgery, and I'm thinking maybe she's still on the pain medication. I want to give her an excuse for this. But, ma'am, sit the hell down and be quiet. Jeez, you are spinning around in that Giovanni jumpsuit. Girl, go on, sit down. And then that comment that she made about Marge, I laughed, but I probably shouldn't.
Eating normally now, so I'm out of a danger zone health-wise. I still am working on the calorie counting. I'm not going to lie, but I eat normal foods now.
I am really happy to hear that she is doing well with her eating, that she says that she's eating normally, and that she says that she's gained a little bit of weight. I think she looks fabulous. I mean, I'm proud of Jackie. Jackie is really doing it, and I am very happy for her and her whole family. She says that she's back in normal, healthy ranges, so that means that her health is good, and girl, you got to stay alive for those babies. I'm just saying, keep up the good work, Jackie. Okay, so I appreciate Jennifer for calling them all out. All of these ladies have fat shamed, slut shamed, financially shamed, plastic surgery shamed. Like, they have all shamed the hell out of each other. Theresa offered some sort of, I apologize, but I don't think she meant it. I appreciate that she even, tried to give it out, but I don't believe she meant that. All of them are the pot calling the kettle black, Every last one of them shades each other and shames each other and acts a fool. Now, that comment about Marge's butt jiggling and they wouldn't if they were in Teresa's pants, I don't know if Theresa was fat shaming her there for sure, but I know 100% she was fat shaming her with that comment about, I know she ate or whatever that was. I know for sure she was fat shaming her then. I just think that they're all guilty of it and they're all just sitting there throwing the stones at Theresa and hiding their own hands. Marge bringing up that after show thing, it was just like, girl, if you don't shut the hell up, that comment that you made on the after show about Jennifer not being a lightweight, you trying to say that you meant in drinking? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We are not idiots. Anyway, Marge has said terrible things on the after show as well. Ladies, stop it. You are not the victim here.
For every year you seem to get a new plastic surgery procedure. Do you worry you're sending the wrong message about body positivity?
No, because I've had 5 children. I think it's solid to say it's okay if I have a tummy tuck.
Okay, so that question really pissed me off. Andy should have directed that question at all of those ladies. Every single one of those women. I don't think there's one woman on this cast, and there may not even be any women on any of the other cast of the Real Housewives franchises that has not had work done. So why is Jennifer singled out? Last reunion, Marge had just had a facelift. Dolores had just had her Brazilian butt lift. I mean, seriously, Melissa has had a nose job. You know what? This is ridiculous. Andy is really doing too much. I do not begrudge any man or woman who wants to have something done. If you look great, you feel great, do it. Andy asked Jen, why did she own it right away when Marge brought up the fact that her husband had had an affair? And she said that her and Bill had talked about it and they thought about, just denying it if it ever came up when they first signed up for the show. But she said in that moment, she was so upset and pissed off that Marge would bring it up that she, wanted her to know, if you're going to come out here trying to spread my tea, at least get it right. And she mentions that, this was all done 10 years ago. She wasn't on the show and it really wasn't the business of the show. Marge brought her personal business on the show voluntarily. So Andy asked a question to the girls. He wanted to know if any of their husbands had infidelity, would they do the same thing as Jennifer and stay? Theresa and Jackie both said no. And I thought, Theresa, we heard Joe talking to that woman on that phone, and I'm pretty sure that Joe, in my opinion, cheated, and she still stayed.
Talk about the crooked. Do we have a few minutes? Okay, because I have...
no, a few minutes?
The Instagram post that started this whole crooked thing.
Okay,
that's what
you
she
wanted
did.
on the Real Housewives of New Jersey.
No, and then I retaliated with mine. Fine.
Fair.
This is like a TED Talk.
Because that's the way this goes. It's called a social media war.
So it was my response to her response. And crooked family got nothing else. Okay, so this crooked would never have been said if this wasn't said.
Okay, so first of all, Melissa said in her own words, you wanted to be on the show, and that's how it goes when you're on the Real Housewives. Well, my question to her is, well, if that's the way it goes when you're on the Real Housewives, what's wrong with your husband being called a crook? You should be used to the way it goes. Andy makes this comment that if you ever have something to hide, don't go on reality TV. Well, honey, listen, maybe you guys ought to start casting a little better, because a lot of the housewives seems to have a lot to hide. Another thing that struck me as odd when Melissa was saying that, fighting on Instagram and things like that comes with the housewife territory. And if that is so true, why is it that her and Joe have been crying and arguing and screaming and hollering over Jennifer calling him a crook for all this time? I really appreciate that Jennifer pulled out those receipts. And I thought it was weird, too, that Melissa and Jackie were both saying how, infidelity destroys families and things like that. But they constantly defend Margaret for blasting Jennifer, about her husband having an affair. And why is Marge able to say that everything is a joke? Everything is a joke. But when Jennifer does something and says something and it's supposed to be a joke, then everyone is so appalled by it and you've got to be kidding me. I can't believe she did that. And then the women want to clown her for bringing out her receipts, but she had to because production certainly wasn't trying to help her. They kept showing her message. They weren't showing that Melissa provoked that whole thing. Marge says something about Theresa needs to learn branding and something like that earlier. And I thought, girl, are you kidding me? Didn't you get sued over branding? Stop it, woman.
Margaret, you say Jen needs to own her behavior, but haven't you also called her a concubine, her sister-in-law a mail-order bride,
Yes, I
and
did.
mocked her lip liner?
A mail order bride was a joke.
I love my husband. I don't love the other woman. I'm entitled to forgive my husband.
You wrote
I
to
blame
the
both of them.
pharmaceutical company to get her fired.
Now that I would do it again.
Okay,
honey.
listen. She could have had a
Honey.
family. She could have had children.
I know she didn't.
You don't know,
I know she
anything
didn't.
about her.
Okay, so why is Jen not allowed to be mad at the woman who was having an affair with her husband? This woman knew that he was married. He knew that he was married. She is able to make her own decision if she wants to forgive him and continue to be married to him. But she doesn't have to care one iota about this woman. I wouldn't give a damn about the woman who cheated with my husband. I wouldn't wish her bad, but I damn sure wouldn't care if she got fired. No, and I still don't care what anybody says. We're all entitled to our opinion. Marge and Joe B cheating on their husband and wife is totally different than Jennifer being cheated on. And I don't care. It's different. Is it right that Jennifer took her anger out on Marge? No, it is not. But Marge was out here flaunting the fact that she had an affair. Marge was defending Bill's mistress as if they were good friends. I'm thinking, are you friends with this lady? And then Melissa makes that comment that how is calling someone a mail order bride a problem? Are you kidding me, Melissa? That is extremely insulting. That is why. All of those comments are insulting. The things that Jen called Marge, the things that Marge called Jen, all of those things were insulting and not needed or called for. I don't know, you guys. I really hate that this was 3 parts. Get down in the comments and let me know what you think. And until next time, bye.